In today's video, we will explain in detail about All India Sainik School Entrance Exam mark scheme and the syllabus. जब सैनिक स्कूल्स के एंट्रेंस एग्जाम के सिलेबस के बारे में बात करते हैं तो देर आर टू आस्पेक्ट्स विच यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड. द फर्स्ट वन इज कि व्हाट इज द मार्क स्कीम एंड द सेकंड वन इज सब्जेक्ट वाइज इंडिविजुअल चैप्टर्स and the topics from which questions are asked. So in the description box, we have also attached the PDF of the syllabus just in case you want to take a printout for your reference. And it is also wise enough to always have a printout of the syllabus because the reason you want to take a printout of the syllabus is कि जैसे जैसे आपके टॉपिक्स होते जाएं आप उनको ट्रैक कर कर एक मार्क कर सकें. So that's the reason. So before we start, have a look at the video tutorial which is going to be played on your screens. If you are preparing for All India Sainik School Entrance Exam, then you must download Sainik School Cadet app and practice 20 most important questions per day in Test of the Day section. Hundreds of students are preparing and practicing these questions. It is a short way to get yourself selected in All India Sainik Schools and Rashtra Military Schools Entrance Exam. So now moving forward, we will explain what is the mark scheme for Class 6 entry of All India Sainik Schools Entrance Exam. Have a look at the screen. As you can see, so we have 4 sections in this exam. Section A, B, C and D. Section A covers language. Now, what do we mean by language? Language basically represents, in All India Sainik School Entrance Exam, there is a choice of 13 languages, among which the popular ones are English and Hindi. So, when you are attempting this exam, आप choose करते हैं कि आपको इंग्लिश मीडियम में एग्जाम देना है या हिंदी मीडियम में या फिर जो रीजनल लैंग्वेजेस अपार्ट फ्रॉम आई बिलीव देयर आर 13 लैंग्वेजेस. सो जो भी आपने लैंग्वेज चूज किया है उसका देयर विल बी 25 क्वेश्चंस वर्थ 2 मार्क्स each. So the total weightage is 50 marks. Moving forward, section B will be of mathematics. If you have chosen Hindi, then for people who have chosen Hindi and English, उनका bilingual exam paper होता है जिसमें आपको हर single question English और हिंदी दोनों में मिलता है. So that's a great metric. अगर आपको कोई particular question it is given in English and if you are not able to decode it, तो उसके नीचे जो हिंदी को है उसको भी पढ़कर आप decode कर सकते हैं. So in mathematics we have 50 questions worth 3 marks each. So the totality is 150 marks. In intelligence, which is also other name for reasoning, we have 25 questions worth 2 marks each. Again the total marks is 50. And the fourth portion, which is section D, represents general knowledge. General knowledge is composed of 2 subjects. General knowledge, in shortcut we write GK, is composed of social science and general science. Okay, so one thing which we need to note about the GK syllabus for All India Sainik Schools is in All India Sainik School Entrance Exam, current affairs are not asked. Current affairs आते हैं आपके राष्ट्रीय मिलिट्री स्कूल्स के एंट्रेंस एग्जाम में. इन ऑल इंडिया सैनिक स्कूल्स इन जीके पोर्शन क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम सोशल साइंस एंड जनरल साइंस ही आपसे पूछा जाता है. इसके बारे में डिटेल में जब अभी जस्ट इसी वीडियो में जब टॉपिक्स के बारे में बात करेंगे देन वी विल एक्सप्लेन कि व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन करंट अफेयर्स, social science and general science. So for GK portion we have total 25 questions worth 2 marks each. So in totality we have 50 marks for GK portion. अगर आप complete exam के syllabus के total marks के बारे में बात करते हैं it is of 300 marks. Now we will not talk about cut off marks in this particular video. We will make one more video at some point in future जिसमें हम लोग cut off marks के बारे में डिटेल में बात करेंगे. So now moving forward, let us have a look at कि what sort of questions are asked from English. English से कैसे questions पूछे जाते हैं उसके बारे में हम बात करते हैं. So in the English portion, the exam conducting body for this exam is National Testing Agency. So National Testing Agency at the time of release of notification basically puts up the syllabus. So this particular you can assume कि ये जो syllabus आपके स्क्रीन पर ये लेटेस्ट syllabus ही है. यूजुअली सैनिक स्कूल्स के एंट्रेंस एग्जाम में बहुत ही कम चेंजेस होते हैं सिलेबस के जो रिकमेंडेशंस होती हैं. सो वी हैव टोटल 25 चैप्टर्स फ्रॉम विच क्वेश्चंस विल बी आस्क्ड इन इंग्लिश पोर्शन. सो लेट मी क्विकली रीड देम आउट फॉर यू. द फर्स्ट चैप्टर इज कॉम्प्रिहेंशन पैसेज. देन वी हैव प्रीपोजिशंस, आर्टिकल्स, वोकैबुलरी, वर्ब्स एंड टाइप्स, कंफ्यूजिंग वर्ड्स, क्वेश्चन टैग्स, टाइप्स ऑफ सेंटेंस, टेंस फॉर्म्स, काइंड्स ऑफ नाउन्स, काइंड्स ऑफ प्रोनाउंस, correct spelling. You have to find out कि among the 4 given options which one is the correct spelling. Then we have order of words in the sentence. Okay. So if you are looking for practice questions, I would kind of highly recommend that please go through the test of the day section in Sainik School Cadet app. उसमें बिल्कुल इसी पैटर्न को फॉलो कर लगातार बच्चों को फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट क्वेश्चंस दिए जा रहे हैं तो आप अपनी एफिशिएंसी और जो प्रैक्टिस स्किल्स हैं उनको वहाँ पर इंक्रीज कर सकते हैं. Then chapter number 14 is sentence formation. Then we have antonyms and synonyms. Basically, they can be clubbed together in one chapter, but they have given it in separate headers. Then we have adjectives, interjection, idiom and phrases, collective nouns. Collective nouns is a subpart of nouns. Then we have number and gender, adverbs, rhyming words, then singular plural. Now, at the very first look, for a grade 5-6 kid, it's a very exhaustive syllabus. By exhaustive, I mean yes, the topics are really wide and you need to prepare your child. If you are a parent who is watching this video, आपको अच्छे से preparation करवाना होगा. Otherwise, there is a possibility that due to lack of surety means if there are 4 options in the question, then the child will get confused. Okay, these 2 options are possible. He will not be very sure कि out of these 4 options, which one is 100% करेक्ट. वो 2 ऑप्शंस पर अटक जाते हैं. सो दैट इज लैक ऑफ श्योरिटी. सो दैट्स द सिलेबस फॉर द इंग्लिश पोर्शन. नाउ वी विल मूव हेड विद अंडरस्टैंडिंग कि व्हाट टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चंस आर आस्क्ड, व्हाट आर द चैप्टर्स इन मैथमेटिक्स. नाउ इन केस ऑफ मैथमेटिक्स पोर्शन वी हैव अनदर सेट ऑफ 25 चैप्टर्स which are given by the NTA. I'll quickly read them out for you. So the first chapter is natural numbers. Then we have HCF and LCM, least common multiple, highest common factor. Then we have unitary method, fractions. So basically in our live classes during our hostel programs, we usually recommend the order in which you should attempt these chapters is, the first one is number system, not number and something, but number system. The second one is fractions and decimals. Then the third one would be ratio and proportion. Then you go ahead with V board mass, which is simplification, and then you can proceed ahead with solving algebra questions. अगर आपने बच्चे के ये particular chapters जिस order में मैंने बताए हैं आपने कर दिया, then he would be more than ready for solving questions from the chapters which involve word problems. जैसे for example unitary method. आप unitary method को starting में करते हैं, then the child will struggle. He won't be able to like really decode the problems, or there is a possibility that you might start with solving questions from volume of cube and cuboids. So because this is formula based chapter, once you insert the formula, then you have to use the formula of V board mass. तो अगर आपको V board mass formula use करना है and the child is not efficient, then it might be a problem. So the order in which you cover the chapters is really important. आप किस particular order से cover करते हैं chapters को, that is of paramount importance. So we have fractions. Number 5th is ratio and proportion. Then 6th chapter is profit and loss. Simplification is what I refer to as V board mass, the concept of V board mass, where you have to find the value of variables. Then you have average, percentage, area and perimeter, simple interest, lines and angles. Lines and angles is a part of probably geometry. Temperature conversion of Celsius and Fahrenheit, we also recommend that you solve questions related to Kelvin. So we have 3 particular temperature units. Then conversion of units, we have units of weight, then distance, then volume, where you use this form, you use these kilo, hecto, deca, base unit. I'm referring to this one, chapter number 14, base unit. Then you have deci, centi, and then milli. Interconversion of these 7 units. Then you have Roman numerals. This is part of chapter 1, which is number system. अगर आप Dabad Academy worksheets अगर आप रेफर करते हैं, तो everything, all these are really clubbed together really nicely. Then you have types of angles. Again, it is part of आपका geometry. Then you have circles, volume of cube and cuboids, prime and composite numbers. Again, part of chapter number system. Then you have plane figures, part of geometry. Decimal numbers is part of your fractions and decimals. Then you have speed, time, and distance. This is your next chapter. Operations of number is part of chapter number 1. Complementary and supplementary angles, this is part of your types of angles. Lines and angles में आप इसको cover कर सकते हैं. Arranging of fractions, ठीक है. There is a possibility that some of the chapters might be omitted, but largely these represents 95% of the questions जो आपके पास ऑल इंडिया सैनिक स्कूल्स या फिर we can also recommend कि राष्ट्रमित्र स्कूल्स के एंट्रेंस एग्जाम में आते हैं. Now, moving forward, if you have any questions, you can ask in the comment box. And if you are looking for PDF, I will repeat again, syllabus का PDF is available in the description box. अगर आप चाहते हैं उसको डाउनलोड करना, then that when you click on that link, it will take you to the Dabad Academy Telegram group. वहाँ से आप easily डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं. We also recommend that you join that channel, Dabad Academy Telegram channel. We keep on posting whatever is the important stuff. देश के जो भी बेस्ट बोर्डिंग स्कूल्स हैं उनके एंट्रेंस एग्जाम से रिलेटेड अपडेट्स उसमें easily available है. Now we will move to the reasoning subject of this syllabus. Now the fun part is when you go through the information brochure or the booklet given by the National Testing Agency for All India Sainik School Entrance Exam, so they actually don't recommend any chapters at all. So you have to make it out. You have to like go through the previous year exam papers and then you have to kind of analyze okay which particular chapters have which sort of questions. तो उसके बेसिस में आप एक सिलेबस डेवलप करते हैं. ऑफिशियल एनटीए की तरफ से नेम ऑफ चैप्टर्स इज नॉट गिवन, सो बट वी हैव प्रिपेयर्ड एग्जॉस्टिव लिस्ट ऑफ ऑल द चैप्टर्स. So basically 98% of the questions are asked from these 16 chapters. The name of the chapters is, so the first one is analogy, classification, series. This is, so there are two types of reasoning portion intelligence में जब आते हैं. The first one is verbal. There are certain chapters from verbal. Then you have non-verbal intelligence, int. ठीक है, non-verbal int and then you have verbal int. So all these chapters are part of these two classifications. So you have analogy, classification, series, coding and decoding, logical sequence, number and ranking. Then you have mathematical operations. Mathematical operations is just a subset of V board mass. Okay, so it is not something different. Rather, I would kind of suggest to remove this V. So the questions are based on board mass, blood relations, direction sense, logical Venn diagram, clock and calendar, seating arrangement, non-verbal analogy. So from chapter number 13 onwards, we have non-verbal analogy. Then you have non-verbal classification, series, mirror and water images. So some of the chapters are omitted. कुछ और भी chapters हैं जो आते हैं, but sometimes you are not really sure, so you don't want to pass it on as a recommendation. So that's the reason I have omitted. So if you are looking for reasoning live classes, we are conducting daily reasoning live classes in Sainik School Credit app. अगर आप क्रैश कोर्स ज्वाइन करना चाहते हैं, यू कैन रीच आउट टू अस. फोन नंबर, कॉन्टैक्ट नंबर डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में अवेलेबल है. So moving to the next subject of our discussion for syllabus. The next syllabus is GK portion, which stands for general knowledge. As I just told you in the very starting of the discussion, GK syllabus composes of two topics. The first, some chapters are sourced from social science portion and some chapters are sourced from general science portion. So in totality, we have 28 chapters. So the scope of GK topics is like really huge. So sometimes it's a challenge to cover that many of concepts for any child, but still I will just narrate out the name of topics. The first one is the different types of scientific devices used in daily lives. Okay, ठीक है. And then you have icons and symbols of India, national insignia, national emblems, sports, animals, etc. Major religions of India is chapter number 3. Then art and culture. The scope of art and culture could be anything actually. Okay, and we have musical, classical, folk dances. A child, a probably 10 to 13-year-old child has to remember a lot of folk dances, the name of the dance and in which particular state it is popular. Okay, then renowned personalities. Then you have defense, equivalent ranks in tri-services, name of famous weapons, aircrafts, missiles, warships. रिसेंटली जो कमीशन, अगर कोई वॉरशिप्स कमीशन हुई हैं उनका नाम बच्चे को याद करना है. देन वी हैव स्पोर्ट्स एंड गेम्स, रिसेंट टूर्नामेंट्स कौन कौन से हुए हैं, किस पर्टिकुलर पर्सन को कौन सा मेजर ध्यानचंद अवार्ड या फिर खेल रत्न अवार्ड जो भी मिला है वो सब रिसेंट ईयर में याद करना होगा. मेजर कॉम्पिटिशन्स एंड ट्रॉफीज एसोसिएटेड विद वेरियस स्पोर्ट्स. सो अगेन दिस इज ऑल्सो रियली इंपॉर्टेंट. देन यू हैव सुपर साइंसेस. दिस इज फ्रॉम जनरल साइंस, रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन एनिमल्स एंड ह्यूमन बींग्स. Any single question can be asked from this particular. It is such a vague name of the chapter. Relationship between animals and human beings could be anything. Then you have basic concepts of digestion, cooking and preservation techniques, not very vast. Then you have germination and seed dispersal, traditional water harvesting techniques, experiments with water on everyday life, various. So you have to also understand water cycle in this chapter. Then water pollution and microbial diseases, various kinds of diseases which are found in humans and what is the source of those diseases, whether it is bacteria, viruses, fungi, कौन सी particular microorganism की वजह से कौन सी disease होती है. Then concepts on mountain terrain and lifestyle, historical monuments and their location. Done. Then shape of earth and gravitation, basic concepts. Deliberately they have written that you have to just remember the basic concepts. Then non-renewable energy sources, fossil fuels के बारे में. So basically you can also teach that child कि what are different sources from which electricity is generated. So when you teach child कि what are the various sources for generation of electricity, this particular topic is covered in detail. In topic 19 we have food, culture, habitat, language, etc. of various regions, basic concepts. 20 name of young ones or different animals. आप इंटरनेट से भी आराम से सोर्स कर सकते हो इस चैप्टर को, तो इंटरनेट पे आराम से मिल जाता है, तो आप कर सकते हैं. इफ यू नीड स्पेसिफिक रिसोर्सेज यू कैन कनेक्ट विद अस. देन द नेक्स्ट वन इज 21 चैप्टर नंबर 21, फंक्शंस ऑफ बॉडी पार्ट्स ऑफ प्लांट्स एंड एनिमल्स. International organizations, basic knowledge about structure, functioning and objective of UN, which all are main units. जैसे for example, I would say कि International Court of Justice is one of the organization, its headquarter, ठीक है, and a brief update on कि what is the role of particular organization that we need to teach our kids. Then in 23rd we have Indian literacy and cultural personalities, name and fields of achievements. For example, people who have done really good in different art forms, traditional art forms, उन सब के जितना आप इंट्रोडक्शन दे सकते हैं बच्चे को. Then Indian literary represents literature represents books, and cultural awards जैसे दादा साहिब फाल्के अवार्ड. Then we have natural calamities, floods and earthquakes. What are the main trigger points? कौन सी रिवर कौन सी जोग्राफी किन स्टेट्स को टच करते हुए जाती हैं, उनका नाम. Then we have evaporation, condensation and water cycle. Okay, I have already written about water cycle. 27th is life of farmers, farming techniques, tribal communities and forest produce. So that would be some of it. Now, I would kind of like to point out that as we covered in the mark scheme of class 6 entrance exam, only 25 questions are asked from these 28 chapters. So, हर single chapter से there is a possibility कि शायद एक भी question आए या फिर they might ask 2 to 3 questions. इफ़ यू डेल्व डीप इनटू कि ये एंट्रेंस एग्जाम के क्वेश्चन पेपर्स बनाए कैसे जाते हैं, जो कि शायद हम लोग अपने इन पर्सन जो सेमिनार्स होते हैं उनमें बताते हैं, देन यू वुड हैव ए फर्दर एप्रिशिएशन कि कुछ चैप्टर से क्वेश्चंस क्यों नहीं पूछे जा सकते हैं, या फिर हर एक से एक सिंगल क्यों नहीं पूछा जा सकता है. तो यू नो दैट वुड बी रियली नाइस टू हैव दैट सॉर्ट ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग. Moving forward, if you have any sort of doubt, then please do ask in the comment box. Please share the link of this video with your friends who are preparing for these entrance exams. So if you found the video helpful, you can also subscribe. Please make sure to pass on your observations. अगर हमने कुछ skip किया है तो आप उसको comment box में type कीजिए, so that we are also able to pass on in the future video series. Thank you so much for your time. We will again meet in the next video.